Testing. 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 Just gonna wait for a few people to join, and then I'll get started. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Hey, what's up? What's up? I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. If y'all can, I'm gonna just let y'all know that I have a roommate and we were playing basketball not too long ago, so he might come home pretty soon. So if y'all hear a little side conversation, y'all already know what it is. But I probably might just mute the mic under that circumstance. As y'all can see, I got a little lineup. Right now I have the Hydra. I was thinking about doing some animations, touching up on the texture a little bit. Then we got the Hydra Hybrid, which is what I'm going to create. And the rest is kind of, I might create these right now, but it's just also so you can see what I'm going to be working on. Straw Demon, just going to show off some animations probably and make some new animations. And then we're going to make a little Straw Babies, that's something calm. And then we're going to work on the Straw Man. And then Gum Gum Fruit, we're going to show some of the animations for that as well and probably touch up. All right. Let me know if I'm too loud so I could turn it down a little bit. So starter off, we're gonna just go straight into like the straw man, just because it's something really easy, so it's not gonna be hard to explain like anything. First thing I usually do is I create a group and I name it usually like whatever I'm gonna create. Since this isn't something that you'll be able to turn into, I don't really focus too much on a lot of animations and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a really simple model to start things off. What I usually like to do is I'll import using a couple of different tools. I'll import a model or entity Usually humanoid, so I can see like the size scaling. I'll add another group just so I can move the humanoid around a little bit. And I'm gonna let y'all know as well, I'm probably not the best when it comes to block bench. I'm still kind of new to it. I mean, as y'all can see, I've done a lot of really cool creations, but the bigger ones take a lot of time and a lot of energy just to make sure I get things right. And I use a lot of different references as well. I actually just learned recently that you could put a picture behind, or at least I learned how to. So that's actually really clutch when it comes to not having to switch between tabs. So when it comes to this model, I can tell that it's probably like the size of, I want to say, 1/4 of an arm when it comes to the body, but when it comes to the head, it's probably like a little bit bigger because it's round. So obviously, Minecraft round equals square. So I'll probably just make it like a 3 by 3. I think that's like a pretty good size. And basically, it's gonna fall off of the player. So that's how I'm kind of gonna do with animations, because they don't just like drop from the ground. They kind of like crawl off of the player when they're hit and stuff. So I want to make sure I add that as like a cool little animation. All right, so and don't be afraid to engage in the chat too. Y'all can talk to each other. Y'all can talk to me. I can see the chat as well. I have my phone on the side. I'm not too advanced. This is like my first time doing it, so it's gonna get better over time. But some cool little tricks I would say is when you press Control and you scale it, it makes it so it's like really tiny increments. And then when you press Shift and you scale it, it's small increments, but just not as small. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to get certain shapes like these little cones on the top. So to start it off, the first part of it is pretty small. Always try to line it up to make sure that it's even. You can also do it with the arrow as well. So it's 3 by 3 by 3. That means that it would have to be like a 1.5 to be in the middle. And then I'll probably have to shift it over a little bit. What's CUA? Just make it a little bit shorter because it kind of starts to get like larger at the top. Sometimes I like to extend the model down into it a little bit because for shading purposes, it makes it so it's not like too heavy on the shading, which I'll show you a little bit when it comes to that. As you can see, I'm using the control increments just to make sure it's not too much of a difference. So as you can see, boom. It's kind of like the first part right there. And then with me, I try to do it so instead of texturing, I use models to replace textures because for me, it just makes it a lot easier to use models. For instance, like the ribbons that's on top of it, I'll do like a little model like that. Like I'll just do increments. I'm gonna do texturing, modeling, animating, all of that. I'm gonna try to do it within like, I want to say an hour or two. I don't want it to be too long of a live stream because I still got, homework and stuff to do. But I just wanted to make sure I tried this at least once. And I'll show you some texturing tricks because sometimes I don't always like, just because the model looks like this doesn't always mean that I'm going to keep all of the pieces. I like to duplicate sides and stuff like that to maintain the texture. All right, now going on to the straw body. And I'll show y'all joints and stuff like that too. Usually I make a lot of groups, but for right now I'm just gonna make the actual like model first just to start things off, and then I'll start grouping things and tell y'all about kind of how that works. And And don't mind the back noise. As I told y'all, I have roommates and stuff, so y'all might hear like doors closing and opening. Okay. So as you can see, they don't really have like thick legs or anything like that. So I try to maintain proportions as much as I can. As you can see, it's actually like really big right now. But looking at this picture, like they could stand on your shoulders. So that's kind of what I'm gonna try to imitate. See? Sometimes I really like eyeball when it comes to scaling and stuff like that, but usually it works out. And if it doesn't, then I just switch up the scaling a little bit. The only problem when it comes to increments is when it comes to texturing the actual model itself. Sometimes it can cause issues. So I try to make sure that I at least keep my increments to like zero point 0.5, 0.25, stuff like that, so it's easier to catch the texture. But I'll show y'all some tricks when it comes to that as well. Okay, so now that we see the size comparison, I kind of put this model on the side just because I want this one to be more centered. And it's important to center the model so that when it comes to like the duplication process and all of this stuff right here, all the stuff is just being moved. But we'll focus on that later. Let's see. All right. So now to do the duplication, you just do transform, then you flip it. And as you can see, the axis is a little bit off, but it's close. So that just means I have to play with it a little bit just to make sure that I get the right axis when it comes to duplicating. For this one, I'm just going to move it over a little bit, just because it's right there. Let's see. And honestly, the model usually like looks kind of weird at first, but it takes like a lot of trial and error. As you can see, I was able to, put it in the chat and get some advice on certain parts. So hopefully, y'all can give me advice when it comes to making this model right now. Nah, I'm telling you, that Kaido model took a while. It took like a couple of days of just like when it comes to texturing, it's like a lot of trial and error for me because I honestly hate texturing, and especially I hate like tedious texturing. And with Kaido's like the scales, I'll probably show the dragon model off too in this live stream, but I definitely took a lot of time to even get that, and then the animations too is a whole other story. Like I still haven't even finished all the animations. I would say, as far as devil fruits wise, honestly, the person that used the War of Devil Fruit, like he used it well, but he also wasn't super strong in comparison to the people that he was facing. Like he was fighting Luffy and Zoro, so I felt like in that battle, obviously it's gonna be an easy win for our protagonist. But I think generally though, like in comparison to like a whole bunch of the other pirates, he's definitely like the fruit is definitely a good fruit. It has a lot of versatility. You can use people as pawns. Like he had King on a leash. I mean, not King. Sorry, he had Kid on a leash. Like it was just like nobody could do anything to him in the moment because they didn't want to kill Kid when it came to when Killer was fighting him. Damn wait, I hope I'm not spoiling anything in the anime. Sorry, I'm a manga reader, so let me make sure that when it comes to information, I have to kind of double check that, make sure I'm not saying nothing that is gonna spoil anything for people. But anybody that's an anime only, I'm not gonna lie, I would advise y'all highly to read the manga because right now it's getting really crazy, and I don't want to spoil anything, of course, but just know that right now things are like really intense, and I can't wait for it to kind of be adapted. And as you can see, I'm moving the joints right now just because it makes it easier when it comes to like duplication. Their arms are pretty long, so I'm probably gonna do it in that's like one piece right there, a second piece right there, and then the hand. I try to make it as realistic as possible because obviously if I'm animating it, I'm not gonna really care about the process since I made it anyway. Alright, so let me go to the arm now. For the arm, it's gonna be the first showcasing of grouping elements. You could do right arm, you could do arm one, you could just do arm, and then it's eventually gonna make arm two. The reason why I made arm two this time is because I already have like a right arm and left arm when it comes to the humanoid model, which can get annoying at times. So I'm gonna just put it as arm, and I'm probably not gonna finish like everything for the model and texturing in this, but I'm definitely gonna do like the main parts, and then I'll probably touch it up later on my own time for the more tedious stuff. Oh, a nice, cool little trick is called vertex snapping. I learned about this like pretty late in the game, and honestly, it would have made such a big difference. Instead of trying to like move everything, it just automatically places it. And then we're just gonna make it a little bit thinner. I'm trying to think if I want to do three parts or two parts for the arms. For right now, I'm gonna do two parts, and if anything, I'll just add a third part. Nah, yeah, I definitely, I was on the spoilers. I was on everything for this chapter. I was like, I have to know what's going on, but make sure you don't spoil in the chat. You know, not everybody here may be a manga reader, but actually, matter of fact, in the chat, put it right now if y'all are manga readers or if y'all are anime onlys. Boom, move that down a little bit. Grab both of them. And I could see like there's like a couple of different types of them, so I'm probably gonna make variants to it. More so on the body section because it looks like the head is pretty much the same each time. I'm probably gonna fix this part up too. I don't know how I feel about this yet, but we'll see when it comes to the texturing process. With it being such a small model, I feel like texturing isn't gonna be that big of a deal as far as like if I have to delete a block, I have to delete a block. But I think I see the problem with it right now is I made it a little bit too square, and it's like more of a rectangle. So what I might do is break it up into multiple parts and like add some slants in it. So this could be like the middle section of it. And then I'll add, and I promise y'all the second time I do a live stream is gonna be much better, much more quality, much more planning and stuff like that. But right now I kind of want to do like a test run just to see kind of how the process is and stuff like that. I don't really mind that the Brussels are like kind of up and it's not like flat because as you can see it's like, straw, so it's not going to be all symmetrical and stuff like that when it comes to the actual inside of it. And I might do what I did for the straw demon. As you can see on the straw demon, like once I showed y'all like the base model, I basically like broke it up into like little pieces. Obviously this is a larger model, so the pieces are going to be a lot bigger, but like as you can see, like on the wrist, I have smaller pieces to signify that it's like straw. And then for this part, what I think I'm gonna do is break it up a little bit. I kind of like it being like up like that. And then for these, just so it's not, I don't really like when things clip. So what I usually do is I'll just like make a really tiny adjustment to it, like that. But even that's not big enough. So another trick I just recently learned when it came to like making weapons and stuff like that is you can use these for the size. You can literally make it any size. Like for instance, right now I see it's on blue. So I'll go to the size and I'll change it from 2 to like 1.999. Now, as you can see, no more clipping, but it still looks like it's like at the same height, the same size as it. And then usually because the model has the clipping on the front and the back, especially when it comes to, I forget what axis it is. It's like Y, X, Z. I think blue is Z. I can't remember though. But what I'll do is I'll also move this part up. Oh, 01. Now it's back to clipping here, but it's not clipping in the front. So what I'll do is move this part down, one increment, boom. Now no more clipping. And then I'll probably just move this out just so it's kind of going inside of that. And then what I'm probably gonna do after I like texture this part is just like break it up into like little pieces like that. So it'll look like, little straws coming out. Yeah, I know when it comes to the Logi bar, I think that would be like a great implementation. Honestly, like it's never off the table. Like I don't think that any suggestion is ever off the table unless it's really just like not possible. So in the future, there's a possibility for it to be added in or some type of, version of it to be added in. I feel like there's two models in one right now. So yeah, basically as you saw before, like when you see like the little I don't know how to explain this, but basically this is just shows that there's probably a duplicate model inside of that, and then once I delete it, it doesn't have like the glitchy texture anymore. So this is kind of like a basic interpretation of it. I'm thinking in the future, like when I go back and touch it up, I'm probably gonna make it more of like a cylinder using like vertex snapping. So with that, it'll just be like I'll do this, and I'll just rotate it a little bit. Boom. And then I'll just do that kind of like the whole way around. Actually, maybe I'll just do it right now. Just to show y'all kind of like an example. But I'll do it more. It's harder to do it when it comes to those pieces because it's so like it's already slanted. So when it comes to like rotations and axes, it kind of gets messed up. So um honestly, I'm not really sure when it comes to like custom fruits as far as like the coding aspect, but the type of fruit, if you're asking about the type of fruit, then that's different. So just let me know, like clarify whether or not you're asking about whether or not you're adding a type of fruit and you already know how to like code or whatever, or you're acting how to actually implement a new fruit into the mod. And just want to clarify, my Monomi is not the mod that I work on. I work on Devil Fruits mod, just to make sure that there's no confusion there. All right. Let's see. So we got the ropes right there. I'm still kind of debating on whether or not I want to do a textured version of the ropes. It looks like it's probably a better texture job. So we'll see. But before I even do that, let me make all of the different axes line up properly. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just move this out of the way now that we kind of see the size of it. Make sure that the arms and legs are lining up. When it comes to Pika Pika, it's definitely gonna get revamped. As far as like all the fruits are getting revamped. I'm not 100% sure if they're all gonna be revamped in this update. They're at least gonna have like certain implementations like cooldowns and like stamina drain and probably the level up system as well is gonna be implemented. But fruits are definitely gonna get revamped sooner than later. We're very aware of the damage differences, and then also some stuff needs some more particles, stuff like that. So we're definitely planning on taking into considerations and just adding some new stuff like that, even new abilities too. All right, all right. I'm gonna start texturing this. Let's see. Let me just make sure that this is good. Ooh. And the reason why I group everything is just so when it comes to animations, it doesn't take in like cubes. It only takes in groups, which I'll show y'all in a second. So you want to make sure that anything that you want to move has a group. Boom. This body group really isn't that important, only because usually I use like the actual full entire model, like Strawman, when it comes to the body, since it basically controls everything. But what I think I'm gonna do right now with this current body is expand it a little bit. One, and then I'm gonna add another group, another piece to it for like the ropes, just because it kind of seems like there's a pretty, or maybe I'll make the ropes big and the body smaller. And then it looks like the arms are kind of coming out of the ropes too, so I'm probably gonna move that up too. All right, boom. Looks pretty good, pretty good, pretty accurate, I would say, at least for right now. Now, in order to do textures, usually I'll do just naming it the same thing that I named the model, just so I can know where each texture goes. Since it's straw, I try to make the what's it called, the pixel density a little bit higher, so that basically that just means, oop, all right. So the model is very small. So what I'm gonna do is scale it up a little bit, just so I can do textures on it. And I know I said a little bit, but that's still a little bit to me. Now create texture. Boom. Go into paint. I start off with painting the whole thing one color just to make sure like there's no cubes that have like green or like just the random colors on them, and then I go more into detail. And you can also use stuff like this to make certain shapes like eyes. But to make things easier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the model over. Yeah, I'm just trying to get to 0. Okay. I was trying to get the pivot point to 0 because if I'm not mistaken, that's basically um, the symmetry as far as like the perfect middle. Mirror painting. Oh, that's definitely not the perfect middle. Or is it? I can't tell. We'll find out. Nope. Funny thing. I am definitely starting on the Fire Force mod pretty soon. I was speaking to one of my friends about it, and they're gonna help me when it comes to just learning how to code and stuff. Well, not code, learning how to use M Creator. So I think that for the first version of it, I'm gonna use M Creator, and then obviously as I get better and learn more about coding, I plan on over, moving it over into like actual code. Maybe I should do an Inferno stream one day. Soon. All right. Now to get that straw effect. Actually, I might be able to just do it like that. Just make it like, nah, I don't like that. I'd rather more organized. So what we're gonna do is add some gradients, just to add a little shadow, because under the scarf is gonna be a shadow. And I might make the actual scarf larger too. So that's why I'm putting it like pretty far down. Now, let's say I do something like this. Where's the big cube at? Kind of play around with texture a little bit. Just like little tricks like that that help. I don't know. I might do actual texturing for this one because I don't know how I feel about this compared to like something like this where it's like much larger. But for now, we'll leave it like that until further notice. What I might do is just texture the side and see how it looks compared to the front and also the back. Oop, hmm. Might even use something like that. We'll see. Test runs, test runs. But for now, you can see that this is kind of like the base version of the model. Work on the scarf a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
look, I'm
not.
telling him if I don't want to ratio that we walk in, he has no shirt on.
It's his home.
He did take it off at the park though. He played ball with us.
I mean, he lives here, so. Okay, can you hurry up? I want to go. I want to sleep. I'm hungry.
Yes. Okay. Just what do I want to wear downtown? What do I wear downtown?
I want to wear. You can wear this shirt because it's a long sleeve. You can wear some jeans, and we can just go.
Oh, it is. No, it's
One second, 1 second.
Oh, I'll just wear this then.
Or this. That.
I'll wear this and I'll throw a bandana on and we'll be good to go.
Mm-hmm. This, and my forces, I guess. Yeah, I'll wear my forces.
Okay.
This. Very careful. Can I put my laptop in your bag?
Oh, I have tea, but it's not really tea. Well, I don't know if it's tea, but.
What?
So, I guess Liv and Mario are talking?
Live?
Liv.
In Mario?
And Mario.
That's so random.
Yeah, and Jason asked. Okay.
I do fuck with Mario though. Yeah, he's my boy. Wait, what gives off more of a 2000 vibe? Okay, on YouTube. This?
Because he was.
Right?
When were you born? 19.
2000.
Oh.
Oh, you're a little kid.
Don't do that.
So wait, don't start.
Don't do
That's
that.
a grown folk.
Don't do that. 98.
Right? That's a grown folk.
I mean, my
Oh,
fault. 2002.
98, yeah.
2002.
2003.
2003.
I'm
Oh.
2.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Next.
You got a long way to go.
Why are your underwear just sitting on the desk?
Oh, I'm taking this.
If I was clean, I would write Matt.
No, this is clean.
What,
This is
what?
clean.
Oh.
I just put that there.
Let's do that option.
What? You go. The cube.
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 The cube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the cube.
It's calmer. Much calmer.
You're calm. Just get roasted. That's crazy. Alright. Got his ass.
Wait, why would you wear? Okay, let's say 2026.
Yeah, 2021. Onward.
Back here.
Later.
See you.
Safety.
That's as long as handshake.
It's so
Not
quick.
even- yeah,
It's
all
so
that.
quick.
Like that, the handshake was done before you even said this line.
Word. That's it. My fault. My roommate came in, so I had to go on mute real quick. But we're back. I don't know if y'all can hear whatever conversation we was having. I don't know if I really muted it or not, but I attempted to. So it is what it is. Now I'm gonna show a little bit of idle animation just to make sure that y'all kind of get a little bit of my process when it comes to animating. So first I try to start with the main spot. As you can see, everything is in folders, similar to how over here, everything's in folders. Cubes don't matter, folders is what's important. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, I mean, it's hard to pick a bad anime. Like I feel like I don't really know any anime that I've watched and like it was bad and I still picked it. Oh, I didn't mute it. Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It is what it is. I really don't care if I'm being honest. I'm a very, very social and public figure where I'm at, so I've never been some type of person that cares about people know my business because I don't really got No business. So we're gonna do slightly down. Try to make the idle animations very, very slight. Just because it affects other animations, I want to make sure that everything kind of looks, what's it called? Everything looks smooth. And then I always try to make sure that I start the animation the same way that I end it. So this is like a quick example. Looks like he's breathing. So that means that it's too fast. I don't want it to look like he's panting when it's trying to be. Oop, that's more like a calm breath. Nah, live streaming. I'll catch you. Nah, I put it so there's no restrictions on the video, so it doesn't even matter. All right, I think I got what, one, two. Oh, missed that one. Plus, I'm probably not even gonna like have this live stream like saved. It's probably gonna be one of those things where I like delete it after it's up until I get more confident in actually live streaming and like showing off a lot of the different stuff. I definitely plan on doing more videos too, like actual videos of like PvP, PvE, maybe some server stuff too. But right now, that's not really a focus. It's probably gonna be more of a summertime thing. Hydra. Dang, I thought this thing only had 8 heads. Alright. Oh my gosh. I did not realize how many heads that I made for this. 14, 15, 16. Oh wait, I might have been messing with the wrong thing. Boom. Alright, now. That's one. Some of the heads are moving. What I'm going to do is make sure that they're all kind of moving in the same direction. And then after I do the first level of the up and down, I start to move it around a little bit when it comes to, especially a model like this, where it has so many different heads. Hydra neck 25. Thank you, thank you. Nah, this is definitely one of the ones, like, when I made it, I was like, I'm goated. One of my prized possessions for sure. I'm actually gonna probably switch over to the dragon in a second. Once I just touch up this animation and make sure that they're all okay. Boom. Alright. That should be all of them. Now, since they're all moving, I don't really like that they move in sync, especially because it has so many different heads. So what I'm probably gonna do is add some delays. So for instance, we have next 17. Move this up a little bit. Nah, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm only gonna get better though. I'm only gonna get better. I definitely want to become a top modeler and make sure that I'm able to really just make anything that's in my head because I want to do more than just one piece, of course. And this is something that I can really do at any time in my life. Like it's not something where it's like, oh, because I'm in college or whatever, that it's like prime time to do it. Like Once I'm out of college working and all that stuff, I'm gonna have plenty more time. So I'll be able to kind of expand on not just the modeling skills, but also implementation of like getting into the game and stuff like that. But yeah, that was just like a little quick thing of kind of how iframes work. Since we use GeckoLib, we use iframes instead of coding in the animations. There's still a coding part to it, but the iframes make it so much easier just to like have it in game. And then obviously we also got some arms too. Because these arms are kind of on the ground, I'm probably not going to animate it for the idle, but I'll idle, I'll animate the tail for the idle, since that's definitely going to be moving. Instead of up down, now I definitely do it for fun. Like when I first started getting into it, it was more so to like help the mod in a way because I saw like some of the models in the mod, and personally for me, for a series like One Piece, I wanted more as far as like the models and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then once I started getting into it, it was just like I love doing it, and I just decided, why not be a part of the same project? It's only a two-man team, so it's not like one of those things where it's like a whole group of people that are like all doing it, and like that's where it's more so like, all right, understanding that it's not necessarily just a passion project. So my major in college is accounting. So it's more so I'm a math guy. I've always been a math guy. So I wanted to get into something that was not too mathy, but at the same time still makes good money, and then also is able to have me constantly learn. And I felt like accounting. I'm a business major, so accounting was one of the practices segments in that, and it really like honestly for me I like it a lot. It's like it asks a lot of you to like analyze companies and be able to say whether or not their financial reports are accurate. Personally for me, I'm going to fraudulent accounting, so I'll be able to look at fraudulent activity that goes inside of like businesses and stuff like that when it comes to people that might be trying to do money laundering and stuff like that. But yeah, that was just a little bit on animations. I'm probably not gonna do too many models because I still have like work and stuff to do. I didn't expect it to take that long to do like the baby straw man, but I kind of like the way it came out as far as like the face goes. I'm gonna touch up all of that stuff later and put it in the chat. I'll probably do this one as like kind of a this is what happened in the live stream, and then later on I'll show like the final product. But I can show off some of the gum gum stuff while we're here. So this is gonna be for a Luffy mob that I'm gonna make. Probably a separate project completely with a whole different like mod creator possibly. But I do want to make like a One Piece boss mod just so that it won't just be like you have powers and there's weapons. Like I want to be able to fight people that have the devil fruit and stuff like that. So I made like little animations. Some of them aren't perfect, but obviously they're all work in progress. Nothing is official. Honestly, I actually went to high school for computer science. Like I went to Academy for Software Engineering. So it was like one of those things where at first I thought computer science was going to be my thing, but I just I don't know. I feel like once you get to college, you don't really know what you want to do for a pretty long while. Like for me, I didn't really choose my own major until like my sophomore year, but that was only because I had like internships and stuff like that. Some of the Gear second animation, but I had a lot of experiences with like firms and stuff like that even before college. So that's kind of why for me it wasn't that big of a deal of choosing my major. But I know like plenty of people like even in senior year, like I'm a senior now, that didn't even like have a set major. It's kind of like, oh, I'm graduating soon. I don't want to stay here extra long. So I'm just gonna have to stick with whatever I came with. Red Hawk obviously is basically like Bazooka, except one arm, and then there would be like fire particles and stuff, but you can't do particles in block bench, at least not to my knowledge. Okay, third transformation. Still got to touch up, like as you can see right there. Scale. My fault. I'm a very tedious person when it comes to stuff like this. Like I want to make sure that I get every little part. Because if I can see it, that means that y'all can see it. Yeah, that's much better. That Gatling animation took me the longest time to create. That was probably like the last animation I did. Some Gear Third stuff. Honestly, Gear Third is probably gonna be like one of my favorites. Obviously, outside of Gear Fourth, I didn't make the bazooka yet. There we go. Gear Third Gatlin just looks so beautiful to me. Like the way that I made the back go backwards and then punch forward, and then it's kind of like propelling. Rifle is gonna need some touch ups, but it's all right. Now, man, that's gonna obviously be a transformation. Let me actually go back to this section. Ooh, I gotta fix that. All right, boom, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely one of the things, especially when it comes to a product, like I want to be able to enjoy it just as much as y'all do, because obviously I'm gonna play the mod. I'm not gonna just create the mod and then just be like, okay, leave it there. Like I definitely play the mod pretty often. Obviously, once the bugs get fixed, as far as like the whole like game crashing and stuff like that, that's gonna make me want to play it more. But right now, I avoid it until the update kind of comes out. Poses. And remember, this is a player model, so it could be like whatever skin you have is going to be the same thing like this. And these are like your arms and stuff like that. I might do a custom arm model just to make it easier on me to like make the animations and stuff like that. But I don't know. I kind of like the way this looks so far. It's like a little baby punch. I'm probably gonna fix that up too. I'm probably gonna redo all of like Gear Fourth. I don't know because I made this like really early on, so like joints wise, it's like everything is just kind of like off. I really like the way that looks though. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh my gosh, I like this one a lot. The way like the hands start to get full, and then boom. Tank Man, I didn't really do anything for Tank Man. It's just like you kind of just walk around and you're a tank. There's nothing like really about it. I'll probably add like an ability or two to it, but it's more so like a defensive ability. And we got Snake Man. It's a lot of favorites. Oh, I probably got to fix that like pulsing, but I'll fix that later. Which is basically the same thing as far as like jets and stuff like that. And the problem with Snake Man is because the arms like curve a lot when it comes to like if I would do like a punch for instance, even though I have it into like many different groups, if I punch straight and then I try to rotate this, you see how it like stretches it out and then I have to like, basically like re size it up. So what I think I'm gonna do for Snake Man is just gonna be like a custom arms, just so I can do like certain abilities, or maybe certain abilities will have custom arms and it'll just have like regular arms. Yeah, when it came to like the abilities and stuff like that, I only added the build up because thinking about it from a player standpoint, usually if you use like for instance like King Kong activate, right? Luffy doesn't use King Kong activate and then punch immediately. Luffy uses King Kong activate, gets to his target, and then punches them. So eventually, what I'm gonna have it do is like, for instance, like Bound Man Jet, you're gonna be able to like scoot around all over the place, but you'll also be able to have something like, let's see, like Leo Bazooka. Like you'll have these arms while you're jetting around. So that's definitely kind of like the plan that I'm gonna go for with it. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna redo all of Gear Fourth and make it more, well, obviously just better in general. But yeah, that's kind of Luffy. Working on a new Gatlin loop just to make it so like the players can do it because this Gatlin loop at the top is more for Luffy because it has like the startup and stuff. But in order for it to actually like continuously go back and forth, I had to make sure that I took out like this part right here. But Gum Gum is definitely going to be top tier fruit for sure. Obviously, if you read the manga, you already know that it's an amazing fruit. All right, let's see if we could do go into the dragon. As you can see, there's 49 items in here. So that's like all the different animations, stuff like that for a whole bunch of different fruits. I'm actually gonna show off Mochi too, but we'll do dragon form. Complete that. Show a little close up of the actual dragon. See, instead of doing the hair as like blocks, I decided to do it like one block and then texture the tips, just to make it much easier for me to like animate and stuff like that. And then even right here, like instead of doing blocks, I just did one texture and then I just copy and paste the texture, copy and paste the texture. Similar to like what I did for like these pieces as well. Like they're all just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, I'm ready to. I can't wait for the next chapter. Honestly, Luffy, you did it. You did it, Luffy. You got me super excited. And I'll show y'all some of the animations. What I do for these type of creatures to make it easier to code, I separate every single animation. I haven't done it yet for this one because usually I make like the main animation first, just so that it'll be easier for me to see how it looks as a final product. And then I'll go in and basically like I'll go to idle body, right? And because I'm only focused on the body moving, I'll specifically grab the arms and I'll just delete the arm animations, for instance. Whatever else is moving that's not supposed to be moving, whiskers. There's a lot of whisker pieces, so I don't know if I got all of them, but think that's all of them. So now the whiskers aren't moving. The whiskers have their own animation. So now, as you can see right here, all you really see is the body and the head moving, which is how it's supposed to be. So that if it does certain abilities, it doesn't really affect the entire animation. I'll show off that fruit in a second. Right now, this is what I'm thinking for the original fly animation. So basically, how it's gonna do is gonna go from idle and then kind of switch into that, and this is gonna be like the regular flight. But then there's also gonna be something called destructive sprint, which is basically gonna be this form where it's like flatter, and it's not gonna be as long as far as like I mean it's gonna be much longer as far as like the animation goes, which is gonna that's the reason why I make it an ability and not necessarily like just the regular flight animation. And as you can see, it looks terrible right now. Like this is definitely one thing I'm gonna have to work on over time, but it's gonna look better. It's gonna look better. It's gonna see better days. Obviously, we have the bite, dragon twister, which is my personal favorite. It's basically what it's gonna do is add like a tornado that comes up, and I might make it so where it's also storms that are going on at the same time. The dragon is pretty big as far as like size wise. Each block itself, I try to make it in increments of 5. So for instance, like when it comes to like the length of it, I try to make it in 5 so I can do the scales properly. Of course, the dragon could be better. The dragon will always get better. Dragon's like my favorite fruit, so I'm gonna put like my sweat, blood, and tears into this one. Now, yeah, it's definitely like the player. A player is probably like the size of the mouth. I would say like it's just roughly around the size of the mouth. It's in the chat too. Like it shows it in the creation tab. I kind of did like size comparison. It's gonna actually be bigger than this. I'm probably gonna do like a 1.5 scale just to make it feel like more menacing. But we'll see when I put it in the game or when Speed puts it in the game. We'll do like test runs on like what a good size is for it. For the scratch with all my animations, I try to make sure that multiple pieces are moving. So obviously, scratch it could have just been a hand movement, but the tail is gonna like move back so that it's not in the way. Bite goes down, chomp down. Blast breath. I really like the way I did this one, where it's just like the startup for it, and then it just like shoots it all out. Roar. Added a little head shake in there, and then after that, it's just destructive sprint. So for the dragon, there's not too much going on as far as like animations wise. I'll probably add some more like custom stuff to it just to make it, have a lot of stuff going on for it. But it's definitely going to be a pain to get in the game because of how big it is and also the type of creature it is since it's like super long and has so many moving parts that we have to take account for when it comes to like rendering it in and stuff. But now for the questionable fruit. Show off some of that stuff. All right. So if you move then stop when it comes to the dragon. So basically for the idle animation, this is going to be like the natural movement. Like without sprinting, it's going to look like this. So you're basically going to just move forward slow, not necessarily slowly, but you're going to move forward like this. And then when you're actually like flying, like if you press sprint, where is it at? Oh, fly. There we go. Sprint is fly. So it's basically going to look like this, and it's going to do the same thing where it's like levitating up and down, and then it's gonna have little swiggles in it, so you're not gonna really be able to see like abrupt stops. My biggest thing with animations, I want to make them all like fluid with each other, So for instance, when you're flying like this, the only way that you can bite, let me take this off. The only way that you can bite is if you're doing, the only way that you could bite like this is while you're sprinting. But when you're in idle form, the bite is going to be like this. We're like inches down. So it's like each single part is going to have a separate animation. So idle has its own animations, sprint has its own animations, and they all kind of flow with each other. Moving into some of the mochi stuff, y'all already know Zangiri. Oh, I gotta fix up that texture. I could have sworn I fixed that texture. Whatever though. But I'll just show y'all this version of it then for now. Obviously, I know what this is for. Boom. What I think I'm gonna do is space out. Let's see how that looks. Hmm. Just spaced it out a little bit. I just felt like the smash went down too fast, but now I don't know. I kind of like it when it went down pretty fast. Because basically, what would happen with the actual player itself? This is like a mock player model, so y'all could see it. But when it comes to the player itself, they're probably gonna, start off boom, twist, 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 and then when it goes up like this, jump up. It's not connected to anything right now, but jump up, and then as soon as it does the smash right here, back. I mean, it's gonna be in the sky, so basically you're hitting the ground. It's gonna create a crater, all that good stuff. Mochi wheel, pretty self-explanatory. Oh, this is not the. I thought this was the animated version, but obviously animated version is just gonna spin. Mochi donuts. This is my most recent mochi stuff that I did. Basically, we have the regular punch, and then we have the barrage strike. And I put it as a loop so that it could be something where it could, do it one time if you wanted to, but it also could do it like a barrage. I'm not 100% sure on how the targeting is going to work with it. Obviously, it's going to be wherever you look, but also how long it lasts. So I don't know if it's going to work like, how the gum gum fruit has the barrage currently, where it just like punches, 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 punches until you unpunch. I think this one might be more on like a last for 10 seconds, last for 30 seconds type of basis, but not 100% sure yet. But yeah, that's kind of how Mochi's looking. And honestly, most of Mochi's abilities is pretty much going to be like a reskinned version of Gum Gum and a little bit larger. Thank you, thank you. It took a lot of trial and error for this. At first, I just had it so it was at the top. It just did like it did one. It was only three of them, and it was like one after another. But then I got some reviews on it, and they were just basically like I was looking at the games for it. I was looking at other mods as far as like other One Piece mods on the Pocket Edition of Minecraft, and then also I was looking at what's it called, Roblox, because they just recently added Mochi to, I forget what the name of the game was. I think it's GPO, Grand Peace Online. There we go. Yeah. So then I saw that it's like they kind of come out at the same time. It's not like just one fist the whole time. So that's when I added it, and then also different directions as well. And you see like they're kind of like shrinking in as the next one is coming out. Then boom, they come out. I'm probably gonna lower some of these so if they hit the ground, like each of them are gonna have to hit the ground. But yeah, that's kind of mochi right now. Hmm. Trying to think if there's any other stuff I would like to show off. Let's see. Type in the chat. Would you rather see the Buddha statue or the lightning god mode. Lightning. All right, gotcha. I believe this is the right one. Okay, boom. So how I did the lightning god mode is I basically made it so it's a player model, just retextured, so that you can kind of lay textures on it. So as you can see, Speed Skin is a little different because he has the double eyes, but I put NL skin on it. So you'll see like it's like partially. Oh, I'll show both. I'll show both. So I just made it so that it has eyes right here. It's just so like it works with any skin basically, but that will be the animation for transforming into the form. It already kind of hovers in the current mod, but I wanted to make the hover more apparent so it goes like up and down. I don't know, actually I don't think it hovers. I think it just has a regular walk. So I wanted to make it hover basically just to have that more like deity appearance. Walk, it just slants up a little bit when you're moving. Sprint slants up a little bit more. Then we got the punch. Since it's like floating, I want it so like the punch is always down because more than likely you're gonna either be larger than your target, and even if you're punching down when you're not larger than your target, it's still gonna hit the whatever the hitbox is. Sorry, my voice is cracking a little bit, but it's still gonna hit whatever the hitbox is because it's like the middle area that's still punching. Oh, the reason why I did that is because an issue that I ran into when I first started animating it was if I would go like for instance I would do idle and then I would do lightning god punch, it would do that, which looks terrible. So I had to basically make it so the animation doesn't do any scale, like it doesn't scale anything, and it just does the actual action itself. So that's the only one I kind of fixed for that. Because at first when I was making animations, I did every animation independently, but now I realized that they have to go together, of course. So I started fixing up some of the old animations. This is basically the animation for when it uses any of its attacks, like lightning wolf, lightning bird, lightning dragon, stuff like that. Then we have lightning god stream. This one is going to be a new ability, not implemented yet. I don't know if it will be implemented in the next update, but we're trying to learn how to make it so the lightning is actual like lightning kind of coming off. That's something probably like way further down in development though, because obviously it's like a whole different level of coding. Not yeah, it doesn't hover currently. Kind of it just walks. Next up, we'll do Buddha. Where's Buddha? It's at the top. All right, boom. Same deal over here. I literally just did Lightning and Buddha. It's like the same as far as like the model itself and like the way I created it. We're a player model, but obviously in the actual form itself, they look way different. They still kind of chubby because that's just how they are. But the Lightning God has all the extra stuff. The Buddhist texturing is more like refined, not as like So yeah, the Lightning God has like a whole bunch of like random stuff right there, but for the Buddha, it's more like strategic. Like you see the chest, you see the belly, you see all that stuff. Yes, Gecko Lib is a dependency for the mod when it comes out in the next version. I might show like a mini showcase of the current version of it. It's not nowhere near complete, but just show like one of the things like the animation wise. Basically, Buddha's like a Steve, so it's not really like anything. I started doing this thing with the punches. I think I saw it in one of like the JoJo mods, where basically like the hand kind of like gets a little bit bigger. Let's see if y'all can see it. Like I scaled it up like by point 0.1 or something like that, just to add like impact. Shockwave. Shockwave cannon is basically just like a Kamehameha ability. I saw it in one of the Pirate Warrior games, and I was like, nah, I kind of want to add that. Repelling shockwave basically puts the hands together, it makes like a quick shockwave that pushes things back. This shockwave is the one that they used on Blackbeard. Constant shockwave is basically keep the hand out, and it'll just constantly do shockwaves. But yeah, it's some of like the models and stuff like that. It's little teasers. Um, Let me just open up Minecraft. Where is it at? I'm only showing off one thing. I'm only showing off the wolf. So I'm just letting y'all know that right now. The only thing I'm showing off is the wolf. Where is A, B, C, D? Oh, there we go. And then after I show off this, I think I'm gonna end the stream, get to, getting my work done and stuff. But I just want to share a little bit of the stuff that I've been working on, and also just share kind of how I do it. The next time I do it, I'll try to do like a bigger model and a more complex model just to show how that kind of works. But I just was looking through the different models to do it. I was like, dang, I feel like I did all of like the super big and complex ones. So I'll probably do like what's it called? Frankie Cyborg. I think that's a pretty cool model. Let me know if the game volume is on too. I probably prefer that. It's not. I don't think I think I muted computer audio though, so it might just be microphone audio. Next time, I'm also gonna have like some music playing in the background too, just to fill in the silence. And obviously, I know copyright stuff like that, so I'm gonna make sure that I play music that's not something that you can copyright. Not trying to get the channel taken down before it even starts. Okay, that's good. Minecraft is loud, so oh, it's probably there because of the microphone. It's probably like feeding off of it. Ooh, what the heck? Sorry, I forgot that I changed the controls. I'm left-handed, by the way, so usually my controls are One, two, three, four, five for like my main controls. I'm just trying to find them out. What? All right, there we go. I hope it's not lagging on your end, but just to kind of show you, walk with it. Then the run animation. See, it looks pretty fluid to me. Even when it gets like interrupted by certain things, like like for instance, if I walk into a tree, it's gonna make me stand. Honestly, I don't know. I'll probably update the mod pack when the mod gets updated because there's actually a lot of new mods. Oh god, I don't know where this music came from. Hold up, let me turn this down. This sounds very loud to me. And then when you're running, it bites. So it's like I said, you know how like I said, like when you're regular, you punch. When you run, it bites. Oh, oh, I'm in creative. It's okay. And then we also have claw mode. So increased damage. I don't know what's that just now. But yeah, I'll show off one more fruit actually, just because I really like how it got implemented. I don't remember where I got the run cycle from. I think I was looking at that. It was like a werewolf game. I forget what it's called though. The elephant. I think I have to fix that neck piece. I don't like that it like sticks out, so I think I'm gonna just take it off completely. But we got a run animation. Obviously, got a punch animation. Probably gonna fix that up too for the first person version. But a cool little feature when it comes to the elephant and kind of like the bigger creatures, I'm gonna try to make them as unique as possible. But the Triceratops has a ground slam, but the elephant has a belly slam. Still preliminary versions, so obviously it's not gonna be as like polished when it comes to particles and stuff like that. But belly slam, like come on. If I'm fighting somebody and they belly slam me, like I will be like amazed. I'll be like, wait, huh? Like I'm just really happy that I implemented that type of feature where it's like each mob is going to really have its own unique like play style, which is how the zones are going to be pretty much like different from the rest of them. But yeah, belly slam. And then this form, it hurts things as it runs into them because it has tusks, but it also has its own slam ability. Basically, it just like goes up real quick and slams down on the ground. And a cool little feature with that is when it holds stuff in its trunk, I made it so it curls the trunk. Versus when it's regular, straight trunk. Different attack animation and everything. And obviously, Elephant just has it in his hand. Wolf just has it in his hand. I really like the Wolf model a lot. That's probably like my favorite right now, outside of like probably like the Wolf Phoenix model. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this little showcase. Let me actually change the book. And it's not just me, I couldn't do this without speed if I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, obviously speed is the one that implements this type of stuff. I just make the animations. I like to combine mods a little bit because obviously it adds a little bit of an extra, step. Maybe if I don't have certain parts, like as you can see. But yeah, I kind of want to get Yuta's abilities just because he has like a run ability, and I really want to do like a nice animation for when they're like leaping. Let's see, where's it at? But honestly, the leap might just work like how this aerial attack works. We're just kind of like jumps down, and I might do like a dash attack like that as well. Like even when you're running, it's like a quick little leap. Honestly, when I was playing the JJK mod, like I have a whole other like world when I like maxed out basically, and I feel like I like Joe's move set as far as like just having like different things. But when you do a 1v1, it's like I just get outclassed every time just because of the hacks abilities. Like for instance, Meteor is good. Meteor is actually like amazing. Domain expansion also really good, but you could just put a simple domain on. You're not really affected by the domain expansion. And outside of that, I mean, it's like fire stuff. But like when you do somebody like Megami, I was able to tame Madaraga, but you can have multiple like Shinigami out at the same time. And it's like that overwhelms a person. And then this one, you have like awesome long range abilities. I don't really like this one as much. Like I like the idea of it, but like if I was in a server, I probably wouldn't want cursive speech. It's just like not something that's like flashy enough for me. Sukuna obviously is amazing. Gojo obviously is the best. Like just imagine the One Piece collab with JJK. You have like a Logia user with the limitless technique and the what's it called? And the six eyes, like impossible. Oh, I just missed it. Or even like if you have like a Delphi user and they have something like this on their side. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Not for sure. I'm telling you, once this mod is at a good stage, I'm definitely gonna do like multiplayer. Like I want to make a whole server, have like a whole bunch of stuff going on with that. It's like a little mod pack I was working on for JJK though. Honestly, it's not a long read. JJK, I think it's only like chapter like 170 or something like that. So I think if you were to like try to get into it, it wouldn't take that long to just read it because they have like the culling games and stuff like that. Like There's a whole bunch of different stuff that I'm saying now you're not gonna know what it means, but there's just a lot going on. It's a really really good story. Like honestly, like I said, it's in my top three. Like I watched movie Zero the other day, and ever since I watched movie Zero, all I've been doing is playing the JJK mod and then just like watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos all day every day. But yeah, that's about